October 9th, 2023, Indigenous Peoples Day. Whereas the first Indigenous Peoples Day proclamation was presented following the 1977 International NGO Conference on Discrimination Against Indigenous Populations in the Americas, where over 100 Native representatives gave voice to the experiences of their peoples before an international audience. Whereas in 2019, Governor Gavin Newsom created Executive Order N-15-19, establishing a Truth and Healing Council, governed by the California's Native American leaders to gather and record oral histories representing the diversity of experience of California's Native American communities and its relationship with the state of California, with a final report to be submitted to the governor's office by 2025, which may include policy and restoration recommendations. And whereas, though it has been celebrated on the second Monday in October under various names for decades, in 2021, President Biden issued the first presidential proclamation of Indigenous Peoples Days to, quote, honor America's first inhabitants and the tribal nations that continue to thrive today, end quote. And whereas in October 2018, 3 years before the first presidential proclamation and a year before Governor Newsom's executive order, the city of Santa Barbara officially recognized Indigenous Peoples Day with resolution number 18-084 in, quote, recognition of Chumash history and heritage, end quote, converting Indigenous peoples, and specifically the Chumash community, as valued members of the Santa Barbara community who continue to contribute greatly to the area's vibrant culture, rich history, local economy, strong workforce, creative arts, philanthropic efforts, and diverse social landscape. Now, therefore, I, Randy Rouse, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Santa Barbara, do hereby proclaim October 9th, 2023 as Indigenous Peoples Day and ask residents to educate themselves on the history and culture of Indigenous peoples and honor, celebrate, and support Indigenous populations all over the world, and in particular our local Chumash community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Beautiful.
I'd like to introduce for a few words Marcus Lopez Sr., please.
Thank you, Mayor, Councilman, and the City of Santa Barbara to recognize Indigenous Peoples Day. Now, through the decades since the Quinto celebration of 1992, recognizing the Eagle and Condor coming together of Indigenous peoples of the Americas, also we, Chumash, are part of that Eagle and Condor. And because of that, the history of Columbus, we need to study it, and talking about the dehumanization, not only of the individual as Columbus, but yet the system that came and the system that created the pestilence, the disease, and dehumanizing efforts of our communities. That being said, Governor Newsom talks about this important issue of healing and being truthful to our heritage. We, the Chumash and different bands, whether it be the federally recognized band or whether it be the other bands within the whole area of Chumash territory, from Morro Bay all the way to Malibu, and the different respective individuals and leaders within our community, it's incredible that we're still here. It's incredible that we participate within the system that is foreign to us, but yet we participate in. And thank you for Councilman Gutierrez for working with them. We're going to open up the Truth and Healing Council, not immediately, but in the sense of coming to the grasp of what's the responsibility of the city, what's the responsibility of the county, what's the responsibility of our citizenship to recognize what does healing mean for all our community, what's the healing mean for our peoples, and what this true nature of this particular day. It's not just Chumash, all Indigenous people of the world. The situation within the Middle East and the conflict, the situation in Africa, the situation of Micronesian, Polynesian peoples, the Kanaka Maoli, people within the whole Alaska, the struggles with the Zapatistas, the struggle with the South America, all that, the Iroquois and Hopi peoples and their indigenous knowledge, we have to reflect that in this. By you honoring the Indigenous People Day, you reflect about what does it mean? How do we learn from each other? What is the needs in the future about the question of repatriation, the question of redistribution of territory and land, and how do we approach that issue, that very timely issue today. So on behalf, not only I'm the chair of the Bottom Chumash Tribal Council, but the reflection of the Chumash sentiment about their unique peoples with a unique language and unique psychology, that we accept this proclamation on behalf of our communities and the elders and the paddlers and the community members that are behind us and that are not here, that are working members within the gardeners, within the restaurants, within the fields, within the even government roles. A lot of Indigenous people feel all many services for our city and also for our business community. We are part of that. We don't want to divide peoples because of their names or because of their destination. We are all part of this together. And this is what this, to me, what this proclamation signifies. So thank you very much for honoring us. And Councilman, thank you very much for these, that you're working with us for the truth and healing.
And we have another one, I think.
Yes. The city would like to honor you all for your rich history and tradition, specifically the 20th anniversary of the Tamul crossing from our coast to the Channel Islands. You've all been doing it for over 13,000 years. You paddle over 20 miles, and we just want to acknowledge you. And our state senator, Monique Limon, would also like to acknowledge you and honor you for that rich tradition that you keep doing every year. And we hope to see it go on into the future. So thank you very much.
How about a pic?
Haku. It's an honor to be here representing all the paddlers and our Shimash community. We are here commemorating the 20th anniversary of the first crossing of our reawakened Tomols. And we have now been doing this since 2001 on an annual basis, except during COVID. So we are celebrating our 20th anniversary belatedly because of COVID. But this is the crossing and the Tomols are hugely significant to our community, not only because it gives us a chance to honor our past and our ancestors, gives us an opportunity to reconnect with our culture, with our beloved Limu, what you know is Santa Cruz Island, and with each other. As I said, we've been doing this now for 20 years, which means a lot of healing, learning, and sharing has happened. But perhaps even most important is we now have young people who are in college, who are in the workforce, who are becoming parents or community activists and leaders who have never known a time when we didn't have this powerful yearly gathering on Limu. This has become a part of their normal. It's a part of their life, and it is a crucially important opportunity for us to ensure that we continue our culture and continue to pass down important and powerful knowledge to the next generations. As with everything in our community, our Channel Crossing is a multi-generational activity. We bring together elders, youngsters, and everyone in between. We now have multiple generations of paddlers. I have had the privilege of paddling with 3 generations of my family in the Tomol at the same time, with me, a nephew, and either a great nephew or a great niece. So this is something that is hugely important to us, and we give thanks to the Creator for this beautiful gift. And I want to say kakinaliu to all my paddlers who are here, and to all the representatives of the community who support us when we're doing the crossing.
Thank you.
I'd like to also say
Yes.
I'm very, very proud of everybody that showed up today for all the hard work that they have put in over the years as paddlers. And I'd like to recognize Marcus Lopez Sr. as a captain, Reggie Pagling as a captain, Marcus Lopez Jr. as a captain, and myself, Stephen Villa. We are grateful to you all for this day. Kiakanaliu.
Last thing I'd like to go ahead and add.
Yeah.
This is heritage. As chair of the State Native American Heritage Commission, I'm so proud of these people to go ahead and actually live your heritage. And that's what I want to say. Thank you. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
Mr. Hall.
Okay.
Oh.